رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال: سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت: دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: عليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة، ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به، وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ فقال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وهامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على. فقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنيا ولا أرضا مدهيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فقال جبرائيل: يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أحبت إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبت الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتهية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام: يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فقال علي لأبيه: يا رسول الله، أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل إن الله. فقال النبي: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وهفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي: إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا: يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله هما ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غما ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي: إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. سورة مباركة الفاتحة.
صلوات. صل على محمد وعلى محمد. گھر فاطمہ زہرا کا عجب شان کا گھر ہے، گھر فاطمہ زہرا کا عجب شان کا گھر ہے، یہ وحی کی منزل ہے، یہ قرآن کا گھر ہے، اسلام کے ماحول میں ایمان کا گھر ہے، مومن کی منافق کی یہ پہچان کا گھر ہے، کچھ لوگ مرے جاتے ہیں اس رنج و محن میں، اس گھر کا جو دروازہ ہے مسجد کے صحن میں، اللہ نے اس گھر کو نبوت سے نوازا، دنیا میں اسے دین و شریعت سے نوازا، عصمت سے امامت سے ولایت سے نوازا، ہر فرد کو قرآن کی آیت سے نوازا، سانچے میں مشیت کے یہ افراد ڈھلے ہیں، سب چادر تطہیر کے سائے میں پلے ہیں، یہ عزم کے فولاد اسی گھر میں ملیں گے، یہ نور کے اجساد اسی گھر میں ملیں گے، جبریل کے استاد اسی گھر میں ملیں گے، اس سطح کے افراد اسی گھر میں ملیں گے، مخلوق کی بس آخری سرحد نظر آیا، جس فرد کو دیکھا وہ محمد نظر آیا، اصحاب مکرم ہیں مگر اپنی جگہ پر، غیر اپنی جگہ لختے جگر اپنی جگہ پر، خار اپنی جگہ غنچۂ تر اپنی جگہ پر، سنگ اپنی جگہ لال و گوہر اپنی جگہ پر، پہلو میں جو بیٹھا ہو اسے دل نہیں کہتے، رہرو کو کبھی رہبر منزل نہیں کہتے، گھر فاطمہ زہرا کا عجب شان کا گھر ہے، صلوات۔ بل محمد وآل محمد صلوات. بار دیگر صلوات. اللہم صلی. ملے نہ تم کو کوئی غم غم حسین کے بعد، ملے نہ تم کو کوئی غم غم حسین کے بعد، عید زہرا بھی مناؤ غم حسین کے بعد. لے آئے مختار سر کاٹ کر لعینوں کے، ہے آج رخ پہ تبسم غم حسین کے بعد. بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. ہر ایک حال میں شجرہ ضرور بولے گا، جو خوش نصب ہے تبرہ ضرور بولے گا. ہر ایک حال میں شجرہ ضرور بولے گا. کوئی بھی بولے نہ بولے مگر خدا کی قسم، علی کے بارے میں کعبہ ضرور بولے گا. یا کہیں بھی بات جو آئے گی حق زہرا کی، کہیں بھی بات جو آئے گی حق زہرا کی، تو علی کا چاہنے والا ضرور بولے گا. علی کا چاہنے والا ضرور بولے گا. نفاق چھپ نہیں سکتا کہیں چھپانے سے، ہو لب خاموش تو چہرہ ضرور بولے گا. اور تو اپنے عیب چھپا لاکھ دشمن شبیر، اور برے عمل کا نتیجہ ضرور بولے گا. اور غم حسین پہ گر آنچ آئے گی کوئی، تو یہ آنسوؤں کا قبیلہ ضرور بولے گا. زبان کاٹنے والے تجھے خبر بھی ہے، علی کے عشق کا جذبہ ضرور بولے گا. اور مجھے حسین کے بیمار نے شفا دی ہے، یہ ہر صدی کا مسیحا ضرور بولے گا. اور بوقت پرسش اعمال روزے حشر بیکار، میرے لیے میرا مولا ضرور بولے گا. جہاں علی کی ولایت کی بات آئے گی، وہاں ہر ایک حلالی ضرور بولے گا. اور فدق کے ذکر پہ کچھ لوگ چپ رہیں شاید، مگر علی کا موالی ضرور بولے گا. ہر ایک حال میں شجرہ ضرور بولے گا. بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. نعرہ حیدری. بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of the management of Razavi Community Center and ISIG, I would like to wish every one of you Khushali Mubarak and Eid az-Zahra Mubarak. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Um, just like to thank you, all of you, especially coming, whatever the weather, whatever the time is, throughout the 2.5 or two, more than 2 months. Especially Maulana Sahib here for reciting the first Ashra and throughout the Muharram whenever the regular programs or in between. All the reciters who have recited any Marsiya, Noha, anything, even the reciters for duas, inshallah, Bar Muhammad Ali Muhammad, and you will be rewarded abundantly. And especially all the volunteers, especially on the ladies' side, for preparing, the tabarruk and any help anyone has done throughout the month in any capacity. Would like to thank you, all of you, and inshallah, you'll get reward for your efforts. Um, I will also request Mohammed Bhai to come maybe once I'm done for thanking everyone. Just quickly, the upcoming programs. So after today's program, the next program will be on a regular Shab Jummah Thursday, starting at 6:45 because the namaz time is getting a little bit earlier. Next Friday, Jummah Salat is 1:04 p.m. On next Saturday, that will be the night of 17th Rabiul Awwal. So inshallah, we will celebrate the wiladat of our Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And his sixth holy Imam, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So program will start at 6:45 with the Jamaat Salat, inshallah, followed by the Manqabad and lecture by Sheikh Mehdi. There will be a youth session also with the Sheikh Mehdi right after the program. So if you have a youth, of course, you can communicate to them. If they are not here today, they can come and join us on the youth session, inshallah. A couple of last announcements. For Al Hujjat Study Center, they have a food bank. You see, there's a box outside on the desk. So if you bring your non-perishable item, you can drop it here. They also have online donation. If you cannot bring something in person, you can visit their website. It's on the flyer. You can see. You can donate online. Also, they have a Milad on next Saturday that will be in the afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. at the same center here. So it will be also online, but it will be in person. Registration is mandatory for any event. They do have the registration also mentioned in their website on the poster, if you can see. Donations are always welcome, whether it's for them. They also are looking for donations for Chromebooks or anything that you want to donate, for remote teaching, because classes will still be remote for at least maybe this academic year, as far as I can see. Couple of good announcements I can say in a capacity that hopefully in upcoming week we are hearing that the restriction will go or will be further relaxed, and Jamaat Salat and all those things, probably we have to be out of this triangle or diamond formation, so probably we can stand more close to each other, inshallah, but of course subject to whatever the government directives comes. We'll keep you posted on our newswire and the next programs we have. The next Shab Jummah, hopefully by that time, if we are already in that less restriction, I can say, zone, we'll apply that and we'll communicate to you. And throughout this time, I think for the last almost one and a half year or more, I know we have been up and down, especially with remote programs, and then here also we have capacity issue most of the time. You cannot, sometimes you want to register and you cannot. I know it's sometimes frustrating, but thanks to all of you for registering and cancelling if you cannot make, because that has helped us a lot. Initially we have issue, people don't cancel, and then we don't show up. We have empty halls But thanks to you, if you cannot come, please do cancel. And one more request is please complete the pre-screening. Once you register, you will get the pre-screening a day before. Other center they actually don't permit if you've not completed. We are a little bit relaxed, but I don't want this to be misused, right? So if you can please complete the pre-screening before coming here, otherwise Mohammed Bhai has to fill on your behalf. So he's sitting for the half an hour filling all of the pre-screening. So please do that, and of course whatever the updates we have for the new protocols, SOPs will be communicating to you. By that time, please follow the same protocols we have been following. And again, I'd like to thank all of you for maintaining that physical distance, wearing masks, using sanitizers, all those things, and it has helped. Probably you can appreciate also the numbers are going down, especially alhamdulillah all our centers because of following those SOPs. We are pretty much in a good shape, inshallah. And as I mentioned, because of that, the good news is hopefully on the horizon, and we'll get those relaxation much better, inshallah. And now I'll ask Muhammad Bhai to speak a few words, and then Maulana will start his lecture. Bar Muhammad Ali Muhammad Salawat.
Respected Maulana Sayyid Sagir Hussain, my respected elders, brothers and sisters, my youngsters, Assalamu alaikum. I'll probably be repeating what Amir Bhai already said, but once again, I just want to thank everyone, through Muharram and Safar, people attending the lectures, reciters of du'as, marshiyas, nawhas, people who have sponsored our niyazes, tawarruk, and everything. So I want to thank each and one of you. Now, this happy occasion of az-Zahra, I'd like to send Kushal Mubarak to each and every one of you. And my felicitations to the household of Rasulullah and our 12th Imam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So I want to thank everybody actually who stayed last night to take all the black cloths and everything off. It was really quick. Everybody jumped in and it was done within 15 minutes. So once again, thank you. Thank you everyone for following all the procedures that we've had in place and canceling. And as like Amir Bhai said, it helps us a lot when you do that kind of stuff so others can be accommodated. But like he says, maybe in the next couple of weeks, the rules may lax a little bit. So maybe we'll go back to capacity. But once again, thank you everyone. I appreciate all your help, your cooperation throughout the 2 months that we had. And once again, thanks. And with your loud salawat, I'll ask Maulana to please come up. Thank you. For Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
وآل محمد ما شاء الله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله السميع العليم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود ولا وقت معدود ولا أجل ممدود ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد صلى وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه الحكيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد كانت لكم أسوة حسنة في إبراهيم والذين معه إذ قالوا لقومهم إنا براء منكم ومما تعبدون من دون الله. Salawat please. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Congratulations to all of you and all of the mu'mineen and mu'minat, Muslimin and Muslimat throughout the world and the household of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. On this night of 9th Rabiul Awwal, which we commemorate as Eid az-Zahra salamullahi alayha, may our salawat be a gift to her. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. The topic I have chosen to focus your brains on it is Eid az-Zahra and Tabarra. What is Eid az-Zahra basically? And what is the meaning of Tabarra, which is one of our Rukne Deen, Tawalla and Tabarra, the last one. What do they mean when we say we believe in Tabarra? There are many superstitions around Eid az-Zahra as well. I want to differentiate today, to an extent, the true beliefs and what we are supposed to have faith in from the delusions and misconceptions. And many times, maybe not many times, sometimes lots of falsehood is being presented as truth. So number one, let's see that what is basically Eid az-Zahra. On 9th Rabiul Awwal, the head of Umar ibn Sa'd la'natullahi alayhi reached Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And Imam smiled. There were other people's head too, two more heads. And Imam questions the one who brought the head that asked Mukhtar, when are you going to capture Hurmala and send his head for me? Now there are many things which are added here. Doubt number one is, remember the commander-in-chief of Yazid's army in Karbala, Umar bin Sa'd, Umar ibn Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. This guy's name resembles with the second caliph, Umar bin al-Khattab. So some people, they try to relate this day, 9th Rabiul Awwal, to the death of second caliph. That is not right. This is point number one. Almost every historian, both from Shias and Sunnis, they agree that the second caliph was stabbed on 26th or 27th of Dhul Hijj. So that no way can be on 9th of Rabiul Awwal. So it's Mushtarak Ismi. Umar ibn Saad was the one whose head arrived, and people somehow, after 6th century, they took a very dhaif riwayat and they started saying it is the day of the death of second caliph. This is point number one. That's not true. It has no basis, no proof from the history. The next point is, after we have covered this much, what is the relevance of 9th Rabiul Awwal then? Another delusion which circulates here under the banner of az-Zahra is that some people that report that Bibi Fatima salamullahi alayha salli ala Muhammad used to celebrate on that day, but then they changed it to 10th Rabiul Awwal, that indeed she used to do that or celebrate on 10th, and that was as per that riwayah, which has to be proven first. Remember, you might be thinking Maulana says riwayah. We have different types of hadith, like Sahih, Mutawatir, Hasan, Mursal, Maqtu, Daif, and so on and so forth. We have many different types. Sahih, when we say that is a correct hadith, a true hadith, whose chain is correct, its narrators are truthful and reliable narrators, ruwat, and it goes to a ma'asum, either Imams alayhimus salam or Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Salli ala Muhammad. So remember, my dear brothers and sisters, if somebody reports you something as a hadith, they must prove it first to be true hadith, to be true word of Rasulullah. If a word is not proven to be true sayings of Rasulullah, we don't have to and we cannot act upon it. And that's what we need Maraje for. They are experts. They distinguish between the fabricated ahadith and the true ahadith. And even among many ahadith, there is a hakim and mahkum, and there's a complicated process of how to derive a hukm. So don't be confused. I hope this information is less spoken about, but it's very important. Not always we have easier to understand topics discussed. One day we will inshallah delve down into deeper understanding of a hadith. Have a salawat, please. So the relevance of 10th is because they say, and that is also a daif, a weak hadith, that Bibi used to celebrate on 10th of Rabiul Awwal, thinking that this is the day when his holy father Hazrat Rasulullah was married to her holy mother Bibi Khadijatul Kubra salamullahi alayhima. Salli ala Muhammad. Even so, that is on 10th of Rabiul Awwal. Now, let's move on. I want to give you a very found, inshallah, a very solid conclusion. We want to remove these doubts. We want to remove delusions and superstitions, or if I can say falsehood, from our true beliefs. When we have true beliefs to follow, we don't need to fabricate anything. We don't need to do anything which is not told to us by Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam. When people, they said Eid az-Zahra, remember, nowadays we live in such an age. We live in such an era with the mainstream media and different devices and this advancement. The whole world is a small village nowadays. 50 years ago? What are people doing in your next community, next city? You never knew. Honestly, I'm man enough to admit, I heard about some actions people do in az-Zahra in Iran. I never heard them in Pakistan. I never heard them here. There are mainly two countries where some impermissible actions are done under the banner of az-Zahra. And most interestingly, all of the Maraji, they condemn those actions. People, they have even asked questions to Maraji and they have responded to them. If inshallah Allah allowed me, I will quote to you one of them right now with your salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This question is from the book of Ayatollah Makarim Shirazi Hafidhahullah. May Allah prolong his age and give more barakah in his life. The question is, and other Maraji have answered it too, but he gave a detailed reply. So I will inshallah report it to you. Question says, there have been many years a person who is asking the question that I have been going to different, Eid al-Zahra ceremonies. And people, they're not ulama. They are just the manqabat khan, and they are just, maddahan, people who recite, eulogy and qasidas of Ahl Bayt. So they take it like sometimes all night long. And they do like, some impermissible actions in there. Like, sometimes clapping is not wrong, but depends what you do. And sometimes they dance, and sometimes they just hit their feet in joy. When in delight, well, if you just hit your foot on the ground, it's okay maybe. Maybe it's getting hot. Let me give you a story of Ayatollah Marashi Najafi Rahmatullahi alayhi. I already gave you the story, right? A person came to him. He asks him, Aghajan, if I move my hand like this, is there a problem with it? Ayatollah says, no, there's no problem. He says, what about if I move my hand like this? He said, no problem. He said, what about if I move my head like this? Ayatollah says, no problem. He said, then how come if I do like this in the dancing way, it's haram? Ayatollah Marashi says, it's the kayfiyat of how you do things. See the kayf? That is what is haram. If you, just hit your hand like this alone, that's not haram. And so on. So point here is, have a salawat please. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I cut out the riwayat. He also has other details. But point here is how you do things. See, even in joy on music. Astaghfirullah, just to tell you, sometimes these things are, misunderstood. If somebody is listening to the music and moving like this, that is tarb. That is haram. Any music which makes you move your body with it like it resonates you with it, that is haram. So ulama, Ayatullah Sahiban, they have, told us which music is haram and which is permissible to listen to. So coming back to our question, he says, now my question is that can we participate in such ceremonies? Number two, have Ma'asumin alayhimus salam participated in such jashans? And then is the hadith rufi al-qalam? There is a hadith being presented, and this is the most dangerous part. Is the hadith rufi al-qalam? Rufi al-qalam basically means on these 3 nights, there's a hadith being reported in those type of ceremonies that in these 3 days, whatever mistakes you do, make, whatever sins you commit, I will forgive those. Allah has said that to Rasulullah. The person who is asking the question, he questions, is this hadith true? I hope I have not lost you. Are you with me? Say salawat, please. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. What is the source of that hadith? Look how many questions this person has asked. And then finally, we are the followers of Ahlul Bayt and we believe in Tawalla and Tabarra. So we have to show our love and compassion and take sides with Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam and detach and do Tabarra from the enemies of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. So help me, help me embody all these things. So look at the answer of Ayatullah Makarim Shirazi Hafidahullah. I will summarize to make it brief. Point number one, he says Tawalla and Tabarra. Tawalla basically means to love Allah, Rasulullah and all the awliya of Allah, including Anbiya alayhimus salam, pious people among us, mu'mineen. To love them for the sake of Allah, because they are obedient, makhluk of Allah, that is tawalla. Tabarra is opposite of it. To simply, simply detach yourself, quit yourself, announce your quittance from the enemies of Rasulullah, enemies of Allah, enemies of awliya of Allah. Detach from them and their actions. That is basically tabarra. And this does not include insulting them. And now let me complete the ayah I recited in the khutbah. قَدْ كَانَتْ لَكُمْ, this is from Surah Marka Mumtahina. قَدْ كَانَتْ لَكُمْ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ فِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ. Indeed, for you, there is a good exemplar, Hasana exemplar, Qudwa. In who? In Ibrahim alayhi salam. And not only Ibrahim alone, people who were with him, who were in his fellowship, who were doing exactly as Ibrahim alayhi salam was telling them, if I can simplify. إِذْ قَالُوا لِقَوْمِهِمْ, when they said to their own people, Inna bura'u minkum, we have nothing to do with what you do. From your actions, we announce our quittance. We separate ourselves. I can't simplify it more than this. This is the word of Allah Jalla Shanu. That, Inna bura'u minkum, we are bari. We do bara'at from you. We disavow from you and what you do. If I can say. Bura'u minkum. Wa mimma ta'buduna, and from those whom you worship to. What does this ayah tell us? Ibrahim alayhi salam is Khalil of Allah. And after our holy apostle, he is the topmost in rank. And Allah has mentioned only two holy prophets as our Uswa Hasana. Number one, our own prophet, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. And number two, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and people who are with him on his side. And why Allah says they are perfect exemplar for us? Because of what they said to their nation. That inna bura'u minkum wa mimma ta'buduna min dunillah. Kafarna bikum. We even deny, and if I can say, we do kufr to what you believe in. Look how Allah openly says, these guys, they said, we are kafir to what you believe, meaning we renounce that. We renounce those wrong beliefs and your superstitions. Let's say your polytheism. We deny that. We only believe in one God. Have a salawat, please. La ilaha illallah. So tawalla is that we love Allah, we love Rasulullah, we are on their side. We follow them, we obey them, we show best of our obedience and respect for them. That is tawalla. And if somebody hurts them, somebody wants to hurt them, we are against that person, regardless of whoever that person might be. That is tabarra. would disavow that person and his actions and his faith, any belief they might have. So last ayah of Surah Mujadala puts that in a beautiful way. I don't have time. Allah says that these people, even if they're their parents, their friends, their family members, doesn't matter who they are, they simply don't take sides with those who are enemies of Allah and the apostle of Allah. Now let me come to the points quickly. Then Ayatollah Makaram mentions in the next point that after we have Tawalla and Tabarra, Masumin we don't find anywhere in their seerah to have these type of celebrations. What do I mean by these type of celebrations first? To get together, to mention virtues of Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam is required and admired in this ceremony. To mention Quran, to mention a hadith, to recite madh and manqabat of Ahl Bayt is required. What we renounce is what is done in couple of places. And that is what? That is mixed gathering. That is sometimes music is played there. That is, bad hijabi there. No hijab for ladies. If mixed gathering. And that is laughing and clapping. And that is believing that Rufi al-Qalam, that Allah Jalla Shanu is not going to question us on this day of Eid az-Zahra or night of Eid az-Zahra and whatever they do there. That is what they see, it's legal. This is what we deny. Having a jashan that is admired by Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam. But anything which is impermissible, which is haram, that is what we deny. That is what we don't do, because Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam, they never allowed anybody for even a millisecond to commit even a minute sin. Have a salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. And let me give you this riwayah, Rufi al-Qalam, which is the main point. Hadith itself it's in the Bihar, volume number 95, page 353, chop of Beirut, printing in Beirut, published in Beirut. Ya Muhammadu wa amartul kiramal katibina. O Muhammad, I have commanded the two angels who write down, our deeds, an yarfa'ul qalama anil khalqi fi dhalika al-yawm, to stop writing down raf'a qalam, meaning to remove your pens. Don't write whatever these guys they do on these nights or days. Fi dhalika al-yawm, on that day. Wa la yaktubuna shay'an min khatayahum, and don't record any of their mistakes. How? Why? Karamatan laka wale wasiyeka, out of respect of yours and your wasi Ali alayhi salam. This is the riwayah they resort to. Ayatollah Makarim says this riwayah is not a true riwayah. It's not a sahih hadith. We don't have it in reliable source books. And even if we suppose, to make it understood, suppose this riwayah is there, if it was there, it's against the Quran Kareem, and it's against the Sunnah of Rasulullah and Ahl Bayt's teaching. Why? Because then it contradicts, it puts it as Ahl Bayt have allowed people to commit sins, which is impossible, which cannot be. So this is from Ayatollah Makarim, but be known, Ayatollah Bahjat, Ayatollah Jawad Tabrizi Rahmatullahi alayhi, and Rahmatullah and Ayatollah Bahjat, they have passed away. Ayatollah Nuri Hamadani, and inshallah I will come at the end to the statement of Ayatollah Sistani Hafidahullah, meaning our ulama, even in Iran, they forbid people from doing haram actions in certain ceremonies, but many people, they don't listen. That does not mean that every Iranian they do that, or other Shias they do that. I was to mention here at the end of this fatwa here, we live in the mainstream media era nowadays. Today, one Shia does something, I don't know wherever in the world, people, they record it and they put it on the mainstream media and they portray as all of the Shias, they do that. Not necessarily that is true. And not necessarily that person is a Shia. He could be a Ghali. He could be a Nusayri. He could be many things. Now I hope with this preamble, let me just explain our true beliefs for the Eid az-Zahra, inshallah. Have a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You just heard Ayatollah Nasir Makaram Shirazi Hafizahullah is a marji' taqleed. With all serenity he says, and that is true, this hadith is not true. We don't have such a hadith in our reliable books. And even if it was there, that does not allow us to derive fatwa based on a hadith which contradicts with Quran. You remember that anything which contradicts with Quran, what is the command of Rasulullah? فَضْرِبُوهُ عَلَى الْجِدَارِ. We will throw that hadith on the wall, meaning we won't act upon it. Maybe the Ravi made a mistake. Maybe the narrator lied. Whatever. Anything which contradicts with Quran Kareem, we leave that alone and we practice whatever is commanded in the Holy Quran. Have a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. The last point under this category is the Taj Poshi of Imam Zaman Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is a hard topic. But remember Ahle Bayt, you know why most of the people, they were their enemies during their days? Even today, there are some who still show animosity for Ahle Bayt. You know why? Because they used to speak the truth. The truth is, there's no such thing as Taj Poshi of Imam in the Sunnah of Ahle Bayt alayhimus salam. Let me give you an example. Just before Maghrib, it was the day of martyrdom of Imam Askari alayhi salam. True? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. After Maghrib, right now, the day started for 9th Rabiul Awwal, which is the first day of the Imamat of Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. True? The day Rasulullah died, next day, did Imam Ali take a jashan that now I am the Amir al-Mu'mineen? Was he not Amir al-Mu'mineen next day? The day Imam Hussein was martyred, did Bibi Zainab and Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, na'udhu billah, did they celebrate a jashan that now Imam Sajjad is the next Imam? Is there a single person who denies this truth? When Imam Ali himself, he was on his deathbed doing wasiyah after his shahadat, did Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, they say next day, you know what? Now it's the start of the imamat of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Let's those type of ceremony be delightfully celebrated. Did they do that? The answer is no. The true way of celebrating Ahle Bayt and their khushhali is to obey them the way they want us to obey them. Is not to do what we want to do. The way we celebrate in our masjid and in our Imam Bargah, we recite manqabat, we mention their virtues, we mention ayat of Quran, we mention the manqabat and madh, the qasidas of Ahle Bayt. That is how they want us to do. They don't want to do us some party which looks like a lahwalab mahfil, which looks like non-believers mahafil. They don't want to do that. I don't think a single intellectual person will have any difficulty understanding this. And I repeat again, I don't mean to say don't celebrate the jashan. What I mean is that Ahle Bayt alayhimus salam, they have not permitted anybody at any point under any mahfil to commit any sins. That is what I'm saying. Have a salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Let me put you a hadith from Imam Askari alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Today, Imam Zaman lost his father and our holy Imam. And that was not alone his father. He is also the Imam of Imam Zaman. Remember this. Sometimes people, they take Imam Hussein alayhi salam to be the highest. Forget that. Imam Hassan alayhi salam is not his brother only. He was his Imam for 10 years. Please don't impose your own understandings on Masumeen. Allah did not decide to make Imam Hussein Imam of Imam Hassan. No, the other way. Allah commanded Imam Hussein to obey Imam Hassan as his Imam, which he did. And likewise, all the Imams, see the preceding Imam, they are the Ma'mum of the previous Imam. It's obligatory on them to follow their Imam. Let's say Imam Ali alayhi salam and he's there. His obedience is obligatory on Hassanain alayhimus salam. When Imam Hussein is there, it's obligatory on Imam Sajjad alayhi salam to obey him. When Imam Baqir alayhi salam is there, it's wajib on Imam Sadiq alayhi salam to obey the Imam, not his father. Though at the same time, Imam Baqir is his father as well. I hope you understand what I'm saying. This is our religion. In today's mainstream media, let me complete this sentence. I wanted to say that twice. Today, anything which has to insult other people, anything under the banner of az-Zahra which is haram to do that is not going to help Shiaism. Rather, it's going to help the enemies of Shias. Please don't do that. Imam Zaman is not going to be happy with that. Rasulullah is not going to be happy with that. Bibi Fatima salamullahi alayha is not going to be happy with that. They don't want us to do any haram by any excuse, under any banner. Yes, when it's legitimate actions, as I mentioned, they don't mind. Nowadays, people whose religion truly, they have so much bias and hatred for other religions and other faiths. They have figured it out that you have to have a friendly disposition. You don't have to insult others. Rather, be inclusive, be tolerant, be open-minded. They have realized that today's world, it's a required part, it's like essential in today's world to have coexistence, tolerance, unity, respect. Any religion which does not follow these very basic principles, that will fall behind. No one wants a religion which teaches hatred or insulting other people's faith. Now again, this does not mean you don't speak the truth. This does not mean you don't describe your faith. You describe it, but don't insult other people's dignitaries. When Allah has not put this obligation on us, He says rather the opposite. La tasubbu alladhina yad'una min duna. Don't abuse other people's respected or sacred personalities. Then they will abuse your true God. You have heard this ayah many times from me. Now let me give you the word of Ayatollah Sistani Hafidhahullah. He says, if somebody insults other people's dignitaries, does anything that which causes that, different parties, they hurt Shias, you by doing those actions are, sharik, you are a partner to that wrongdoing which was done to the Shia. And especially if somebody is killed, you are a partner in that killing. Don't think you are doing something good. Rather, you have earned the wrath of Allah Jalla Shanu by causing that moment to suffer. There's a huge book, very important book, written on this. There the author mentions in the era of Safavis, see, there are different people. They used to do many things, you know. They do really inappropriate stuff under the banner of az-Zahra. They were doing that. They said the Osmanis, at their last days, they killed 45,000 Shias. And in Iran today, still we have Sunnis there as well. South Balochistan. See, Balochistan on the side of Iranian side. We also have Balochistan in Pakistan, also in Iran. There, they killed about like 25,000 Sunnis due to these type of celebrations. Is that worth it? Or no? Let's do what makes Rasulullah happy. Let's do what makes Imam Zaman happy. Let me give you a hadith from Bibi Fatima salamullahi alayha with your salawat. Salli ala Muhammad. Let me wind up quickly. Janab Sayyida says, Al-Bishru fi wajhil mu'mini yujibu li sahibihil jannah. Pay attention. This is a precious hadith from Bibi Sayyida salamullahi alayha. She says, if somebody meets happily, friendly, delightfully, meets somebody who is a mu'min, this will earn him paradise. If you just meet somebody happily, with a smiling face, what is the reward? Jannah, paradise. Now look at the opposite. وَالْبِشْرُ فِي وَجْهِ الْمُعَانِدِ الْمُعَادِي. And to meet happily, treat respectfully, if I can say, to somebody who is enemy and has grudge and animosity in his heart, to still be good to him, to speak gently with him, speak respectfully with him. What will that earn you? Yaqi sahibahu adhaban nar. That will protect you. Waqa yaqi taqwa, same word here. That will protect you from what? The fire of hell. This is the true religion. These are the teachings of Ahlul Bayt. And let me give you a story of Rasulullah. Ubay bin Abdullah ibn Ubay as-Sulul, he came to visit him. Rasulullah said, allow the man, let him in. But he said, Bi'sa akhul ashira. What a worst brother in his clan he is. Pay attention. Rasulullah says that. When he comes, Rasulullah makes him sit. Wa bashara fi wajhihi. Rasulullah smiled at his face, if I can say, when he saw this munafiq. You know, this guy is a renowned munafiq. When he leaves, Hazrat Aisha questions Rasulullah. She says, what you said, we know what you said when he came, but how come you treated him with respect? Look at the reply of Rasulullah. He says, Inna sharran nasi inda Allahi yawm al-qiyamah man yukramu ittiqa'a sharrih. The worst person in the eyes of Allah on the day of judgment is the person that other people respect him simply to protect themselves from his evil. I was protecting myself from his evil. What does that mean? That means even if somebody is shar, Rasulullah's sunnah is to treat him with respect. Don't insult the man. Don't insult the guy. Please have a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. अगर जो मैंने आपकी खिदमत में सब कुछ कहा है उसका उर्दू में 1-2 मिनट में खुलासा करूं तो पता क्या बनता है? ईद उज़-ज़हरा के नाम पर बड़े बड़े काम किए जाते हैं, जो तालियां बजाना, महफिलें सजाना, नऊज़ बिल्लाह तौहीन करना और बड़ी नाजेबा हरकत बाज़ लोग करते हैं, वो करना, ये सब हराम है। ये अहले बैत ने हमें तालीम नहीं दी कि ये काम करो। हमारे रसूल पाक ने, आपने देखा है वो यहूदी औरत जो उन पर कूड़ा क्रिकेट फेंकती थी माजरत के साथ, जब वो बीमार पड़ी, यानी नऊज़ बिल्लाह समझाने के लिए कह रहा हूँ, हमारे ऊपर कोई कूड़ा फेंके हम आगे से पत्थर मारेंगे उसको, शायद आजकल के ज़माने में गोली मार दें उसको। لیکن ہمارے پیغمبر نے سخت بھی نہیں کہا، اس کی عیادت کے لیے چلے گئے۔ اس سیرت سے ہمیں کیا ملتا ہے؟ اس سے ہمیں یہ سبق ملتا ہے، منطقی استدلالی طور پر اپنے دین کو بیان کرتے جاؤ، اپنے اندر اپنے بچوں کو، اپنے بہنوں بھائیوں، اپنے کمیونٹی کو سٹرانگ کرو، انہیں مذہب حقہ کی تعلیم دو۔ نفرت انگیز مواد، اس سے کچھ فائدہ نہیں ہوگا، بلکہ اس سے دشمنان اسلام کا فائدہ ہوگا، مسلمانوں میں اور تفرقہ بڑھے گا۔ آپ یوں کر کے کسی سنی کو شیعہ نہیں کر سکتے، بلکہ وہ اور نفرت میں آگے بڑھتا چلا جائے گا۔ ایک ہم پڑھتے ہیں کیا، جشن ہم منائیں گے جب امام آئیں گے۔ شہید سبت جعفر نے کتنا پیارا کہا ہے، الاجل جو کہتے ہیں آ گئے تو کیا ہوگا، ہماری آمادگی ہے۔ کوئی بندہ یہاں دعویٰ کر سکتا ہے کہ میری گفتگو ختم ہو گئی، بس 1 منٹ میں آپ کو وائنڈ اپ کر کے نتیجہ دینا چاہ رہا ہوں۔ ہم جس امام کے زمانے میں رہ رہے ہیں، جب وہ ظہور کریں گے انشاءاللہ، آیا ہم امام کے ساتھ وقت ظہور کے لیے تیار ہیں؟ یا نعوذ باللہ ایسا نہ ہو کہ امام فرمائے تمہارا مجھ سے کیا تعلق ہے، تمہارا کون سا عمل میرے عمل سے ملتا ہے؟ اللہ جل جو کہتے ہیں آ گئے تو کیا ہوگا، انہوں نے برپائی امن و عدالت و قسط کے لیے قیام کرنا ہے، اور جو متقی ترین ہوں گے وہ امام کے ساتھ شامل ہوں گے اس جہاد میں، جو آمادہ ترین ہیں وہ شامل ہوں گے، جو صلاۃ اللیل کے پڑھنے والے ہیں، با تقوی ہیں، یقین و ایمان کی عالی منزل پر فائز ہیں، وہ امام کے ساتھ چلیں گے۔ جو جشن منانے کے عادی ہیں نا، وہ اس وقت بھی نعوذ باللہ جشن منا رہے ہوں گے۔ ہاں کذا جیسے آج کل کے لوگ جشن کو لیتے ہیں نا، جشن مومن، بس آخری حدیث پر ختم کرتا ہوں، مولا علی کی حدیث آپ نے سن رکھی ہے، عید کا دن ہر مومن کے لیے بڑا اچھا اور صحیح دن ہے، لیکن کیا ہے، کل یوم لا یعصی اللہ فیہ فہو یوم عید، ہر دن، ہر وہ دن کہ جس میں آپ اللہ کی نافرمانی نہ کریں، وہ اصل میں عید کا دن ہے۔ اگر ہم معصومین کے ہم کہتے ہیں علی ولی اللہ، اگر ہم علی ولی اللہ کے ماننے والے ہیں تو علی علیہ السلام کی تربیت یہ ہے، دیکھو اگر عید منانا چاہتے ہو کسی دن کو اپنے لیے عید کا دن قرار دینا چاہتے ہو تو اپنے نامہ عمل میں دیکھو جس دن بھی تم نے کوئی گناہ نہ کیا ہو، ہر وہ دن تمہارے لیے عید کا دن ہے۔ او پروردگار بحق محمد و آل محمد reconcile us to follow the footsteps of Ahl Bayt alayhim salam and not follow what our understanding, our views, our opinions are. Oh Allah, for the sake of Ahl Bayt, put us among the true lovers and companions and followers of Imam Zaman, and hasten in his reappearance. And when he comes, reconcile us to join him. And na'udhu billah, not be among those whom Imam will say, I have nothing to do with you. You don't belong to me. O Allah, for the sake of Ahl Bayt, make the holy heart of Bibi Fatima happy with us all. May Allah accept. I will echo the words of Brother Muhammad and Brother Amir, but I will add one more thing. These guys, our admin team, they have been working so hard throughout these days since the beginning of pandemic. Please recite a loud salawat for them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. May Allah reward them abundantly. May Allah reward our donors. May Allah reward our volunteers, all of you. May Allah reward all of those who have even sitting at home supporting the cause of Ahl Bayt alayhimus salam, and they from their heart, from their body organs, they all want to join Ahl Bayt and their teachings. May Allah reward them all, put them among the true lovers of Imam. Ma dhikre salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Thank you so much.
صلوات پر محمد و علیہ. جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں، جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں، وہ خطا کار ہے اس کی، وہ خطا کار ہے اس کی کوئی توقیر نہیں، جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں. بغض حیدر بھی شفاعت کی طلب بھی دل میں، بغض حیدر بھی شفاعت کی طلب بھی دل میں، یہ تو وہ خواب ہے جس کی، یہ تو وہ خواب ہے جس کی کوئی تعبیر نہیں، جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں. حیدری ناروں سے کٹ جاتا ہے منکر کا جگر، حیدری ناروں سے کٹ جاتا ہے منکر کا جگر، ان دلوں کے لیے اس جیسا، ان دلوں کے لیے اس جیسا کوئی تیر نہیں، جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں. پوچھ لے رتبہ زہرا کو نبی سے وائز، پوچھ لے رتبہ زہرا کو نبی سے وائز، تیرے قرآن میں اگر آیا ہے، تیرے قرآن میں اگر آیا ہے تطہیر نہیں، جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر. ایک قطرہ میں کوثر کا نہیں پا سکتا، ایک قطرہ میں کوثر کا نہیں پا سکتا، تیری آنکھوں میں گرش کے، تیری آنکھوں میں گرش کے غم شبیر نہیں، جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں. میرے زخموں کے لیے خاک شفا کافی ہے، میرے زخموں کے لیے خاک شفا کافی ہے، اس سے بڑھ کر کوئی نسخہ، اس سے بڑھ کر کوئی نسخہ کوئی اکسیر نہیں، جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں. روضہ شہ کے قریب آئے لحد مل جائے، روضہ شہ کے قریب آئے لحد مل جائے، ہم کو درکار کسی خلد کی، ہم کو درکار کسی خلد کی جاگیر نہیں، جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں. حرملا سے یہ کہا ہنس کے علی اصغر نے،
ہرملا سے یہ کہا ہنس کے علی اصغر نے، دیکھ ہاتھوں میں میرے نیزاؤ، دیکھ ہاتھوں میں میرے نیزاؤ، شمشیر نہیں جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں۔ کربلا والوں نے یہ درس دیا ہم کو سہیل، کربلا والوں نے یہ درس دیا ہم کو سہیل، موت بہتر ہے اگر جذبائے، موت بہتر ہے اگر جذبائے تعمیر نہیں جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں۔ وہ خطا کار ہے اس کی، وہ خطا کار ہے اس کی کوئی توقیر نہیں جس کے دل میں بھی ازا خانہ شبیر نہیں۔ صلوات۔
افضل السلام سلام علیک یا رسول اللہ محمد و آل محمد، صلوات صلو علی محمد۔ اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے، اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے، ایسا نہ ہو آقا میرا حل من کی صدا دے، اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے، نظروں کو میری لائق دیدار بنا دے، پردہ جو پرا ہے میری آنکھوں سے ہٹا دے، ہادی یہ زمان کا مجھے پر نور دکھا دے، اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے، اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے، ہر ایک نشان کفر کو ضلالت کا مٹا دوں، ہر رش میں ایک دیپ صداقت کا جلا دوں، اس خطر عمل کی مجھے توفیق خدا دے، اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے، اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے، لکھ دے میرے تقدیر میں مولا کی غلامی، حاصل مجھے ہو جائے یہ ایجاز دوامی، ہر خواہش دنیا کو میرے دل سے مٹا دے اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے شامل رہے لہجے میں صدا حرف صداقت شمشیر تلے میں بھی کروں ایسی عبادت اے کاش مجھے فاطمہ زہرا یہ دعا دے اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی ملا دے اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے ایسا نہ ہو آقا میرا حل من کی صدا دے اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے افضل الصلاۃ السلام علیک یا رسول اللہ محمد وآل محمد صلوات صلو علی محمد اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد.
متوجہ زیارت.
السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء ويا أنيس الفقراء السلطان أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى الرضا كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Let's recite 5 times Amma Yujib for the speedy recovery of the Marid and removal of this COVID-19 and acceptance of all of our a'mal. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amman yujibul mudtarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. Amman yujibul mudtarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل Muhammad. Let's finish with a Surah Mubarakah Fatiha for the marhumin of all of you, especially volunteers, especially those who have been helping throughout these Ayyam Azadari, and especially for the marhumin of our hardworking admin team, and marhumin of kul mu'minin and mu'minat ma dhikre salawat. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات.